So this is a continuation of Thursday 429's station activities. This video is going to be pertaining to energy flow and ecosystems. So you're going to need to click here for your practice assignment and make your own copy. And your document should look like this once it loads. So this activity is going to assess your knowledge of the flow of energy through living systems, including food chains, food webs, and energy pyramids. I personally believe the most important thing that you have to remember is that an ecosystem will not sustain without a producer, which is any kind of plant species. So in this particular scenario that we see this food web, you can see what is eating what. Okay, and so producers are the base of the energy that is being transferred in this food web. Now, this ecosystem could survive without the grasses because we have another producer of berries and seeds. The arrows are demonstrating the path of energy. So the rabbit is taking energy from the grass when it is eaten. The mouse eats the grass and takes energy from the grass. So the transfer of energy is from the producer to the herbivore here, okay? This mouse also eats the caterpillar. So the arrows are pointing at what is doing the eating. The bobcat eats the rabbit and the mouse. The red-tailed hawk eats the rabbit and the snake, okay? And the lizard. So the arrows point to the predator in the scenario, what's doing the eating. So we're going to use this food web to answer questions on our student sheet. When we answer them correctly, it'll reveal a 5-digit code that you guys will enter into your digital locks. Okay, so number 1 says, which organism feeds on the largest variety of organisms? And so what that means is which one of these animals is eating the most species? So this bobcat eats a rabbit and a mouse. And the red-tailed hawk eats a rabbit, a snake, and a lizard. The snake is eating the mouse and the lizard. Okay, and the lizard is eating the caterpillar and the bee. So basically this question is asking you which one of these organisms has the most arrows pointing at it. I will repeat that. Which one of these species has the most arrows pointing at it? And that's going to be the red-tailed hawk, number 7. So I'm going to pause and go enter that into my student sheet. So the answer to number 1 was red-tailed hawk, and its code number was 7. I got the code number because it's the number that's right next to the species. I'm going to do another question, question 4. Which organism feeds on both rabbits and mice? So this organism is going to have an arrow pointing from a rabbit and from a mouse. So if we look at our diagram here, we find the rabbit. We find the rabbit, and we're trying to find the organism that eats the rabbit. So a bobcat and a red-tailed hawk both eat rabbits. But this organism also has to eat a mouse. So we find mouse, which is eaten by a bobcat and a snake. So a rabbit and a mouse are both consumed or eaten by the bobcat, which is number 9. Okay? Both arrows from the rabbit and the mouse are pointing at the bobcat. So I'm going to enter that into my student sheet for number 4. So for number 4, which organism feeds on both rabbits and mice? That answer was bobcat, and the code number was 4 because that is the number that's next to the species on my food web. You're going to continue to answer questions 2, 3, and 5, and you will get your code from the 5 digits that are revealed at the end. Okay, so you have to answer all of the questions to get the correct code. Your extension says to explain why food chains, food webs, and energy pyramids typically do not have more than 4 levels: primary, secondary, tertiary, and I cannot pronounce the last one. Primary are your producers. Without producers, there's nothing for the secondary to eat. If there's nothing for the secondary to eat, there's nothing for anything else above it to eat.